a massive lineup of Singapore heavies. Singapore 422 heavy, pushback approved, expect runway 20 center. I'm thrilled to be back at Singapore Changi Airport. It's 8 a.m. morning rush. Can I survive this 1 hour challenge without any mistakes? Stay tuned to find out.
This is Singapore Changi Airport. It's the primary international gateway for Singapore and one of the most awarded airports in the world. It's a major hub for Singapore Airlines, Scoot and FedEx Express, and used also by many different international airlines. The airport has 3 runways, as shown on the graphic on screen. All 3 are aligned in the same direction, 02 to 20. The western runway, 02 left to 20 right, and the central runway, 02 center to 20 center, sit alongside the main terminal complex and handle a mix of arrivals and departures. The eastern runway was originally a military strip and is being integrated into full commercial use as part of Changi's long-term expansion. Each runway is around 4,000 meters long, capable of handling the largest long-haul wide-body aircraft. Tropical heat, heavy rain showers, frequent lightning, and intense hub waves of regional and long-haul traffic all keep operations at Changi busy. Welcome to Singapore Changi Airport in Singapore.
Welcome to Singapore Changi Airport. I wanted to come back here because this is such a lovely new airport with nice airliners, a lot of heavies, and a beautiful sunrise morning rush. So here we go. It's my second time at Singapore Changi, and we do have META live. It's 060 degrees, 6 knots wind. This time around we are going to use a different runway setup. We are going to have the arrivals on 20 right, except the cargo, which are going to 20 left, and we have all the departures on 20 center. So if we look at the map of the airport, we are going to use this center runway 20 center for takeoffs. Since my last visit here, I got comments from the locals that this center runway 20 center is the one that is mostly used for takeoffs due to the nose constraint facts, perhaps. And then usually the arrivals come on 20 left, 20 right. So that's what we're going to do. That's what we are going to do today. We're going to have the arrivals on 20 right, except the cargo will take the 20 left. And then all the departures are going to be on 20 center right here. So it's a different flow also for the taxi routings. It's 8 a.m. morning rush and we are going to have a lot of heavies, which is really, really nice because I do love the heavies. Tell me you love the heavies as well. Please tell me. It's a beautiful sunrise here at Singapore, as you can see. And we have 3 pushbacks already. It's going to be a beautiful episode. Sunrise at Singapore Changi. And here is your today's lineup for this 8 a.m. morning rush. We do have Singapore A350, we have Japan Airlines, and we do have scooters over here, as you do. A lot of scooters. We have nice cargo, China Airlines cargo. Then we have Turkish, China Southern, Air China. We do have these Xiamen Air. And then we have a massive lineup of Singapore heavies. Here is your 777. Then we have A350. Then we have A380. Then another 777, A350, A350. Oh, this is beautiful. A lot of A350s. Let's start giving some pushbacks. Singapore 132. Pushback approved. I expect runway 20 center. Singapore 762, pushback approved, expect runway 20 center.
Pushback approved, expect
Singapore 422 heavy, pushback approved, expect runway 20 center. There should be a nice 777 right here. Is this 777 or is this... No, actually is this 787, yeah. Yes, sorry, this seems to be the 787 Dreamliner. Red cap is on final, and we are having a beautiful morning here at Singapore. What was the wind? 060 at 6 knots. Okay. Redcap 2723. Wind is 060 at 6 knots. Runway 20 right, clear to land. It's going to be a beautiful day. Yes, indeed, a beautiful day.
China Southern
China Southern.
352 with information Oscar. Requesting push and start.
China Southern 352. Subscribe the channel.
Negative. Unknown command. China
Negative.
Southern 352.
China Southern 352. Don't be so negative and subscribe the channel. That should do it.
Negative. Unknown command. China Southern 352.
Come on. China Southern 352. What's so unknown about it? I know, I'm a small channel, but it's not unknown. Come on, you can subscribe it. Do it.
Singapore ground. Singapore 132
Apparently,
ready to
China
taxi.
Southern does not want to subscribe my channel, but yeah, you know, have it your way then. China Southern 352, pushback approved. I expect runway 20 center. Okay, now let me tell you, we are going to use all three holding points right here. We do have Tango 1, Tango 2, Tango 3, so we stack them and rack them on these three taxiways. Let's start with this one. Scooter 274, runway 20 center at Tango 1. Negative. Scooter 274, runway 20 center. They're going to Tango 1 anyway. Negative. Scooter, come on. You know me better than that. I don't take negatives. Scooter 478, pushback approved. I expect runway 20 center. Redcap 703, wind is 60 at 6 knots, runway 20 right, clear to land. Yeah, oh, we have the Thai. We have the Thai heavy. What is this? Some sort of older aircraft? Is this maybe Airbus A330? Or is this even Boeing 767? I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. What are you? Boeing 7. This is Boeing 777-200. It's so tiny. How come? What is this? Look at this. I've never would have guessed that this is 777. No way. No way. 777-200. Is that a fact? It's 777-200. Come on. What is that? Thai 402, heavy pushback approved. Expect runway 20 center. Singapore 132, runway 20 center at Tango 3. Okay, please tell me what do you think of this airport and this episode. It's beautiful, beautiful. It's beautiful, beautiful sunrise here at Singapore Changi Airport, and you know it's looking good. You know, I think this morning rush hour is great. We have a lot of heavies. A lot of really nice heavies, and I'm so excited to be back here. I really enjoy this airport. I love this game, and this airport is quite new and I really enjoy it. I'm just so excited. I'm so excited that you are here with me enjoying this and watching these beautiful aircraft take off and land at Singapore Changi. Soon we can send the next one, but it's a heavy. This is one to remember. If you have heavy, you should have at least like 2 minutes before you send a lighter aircraft.
Singapore ground. Scooter 874 heavy.
Thai 402 heavy, runway 20 center at Tango 2. Where do we go? This plane. This is question. They want to go there. I think that's fine. Singapore 632 heavy, runway 20 center. Yeah, this is fine. They take Victor Quebec. That's fine. We have Scooter heavy. Scooter 874 heavy, pushback approved. Expect runway 20 center.
Pushback approved. Expect runway
China Southern
20
352,
center.
runway 20 center, clear for takeoff. Wind is 60 at 6 knots. Singapore 422 heavy. Contact Singapore departure on 120.3. Singapore 132, runway 20 center, land and wait. Singapore, blah, 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 I cannot speak.
Runway 20
Singapore
center,
132, runway 20
takeoff.
center, line up and wait.
China Southern 352.
What is this? This is some kind of Star Alliance livery.
Negative. Need correct
Negative.
runway. Singapore 132.
Don't give me negative.
Runway 20
These
center.
pilots, they
Line up
don't
and
know
wait.
who they're talking
Singapore
to.
132.
You think they can get away with that? Giving me a negative, giving me duplicated command, giving me all sort of trouble. I don't think they can get away with that. They should know better. They should know better than that. Singapore 469 heavy, runway 20 right, cleared to land. Singapore 132, runway 20 center, cleared for takeoff. Wind is 60 at 6 knots. Singapore 762, runway 20 center, runway. Japan 712 heavy, pushback approved, expect runway 20 center. Scooter 874 heavy, runway 20 center. They should be here well before these. These are taxi. Look at this, they're crawling so slowly. Now they start accelerating. Because here are gates, they have speed limits, so they taxi really slowly. Now they started to taxi a little bit faster, but this scooter should be well before them here.
74 heavy ready to taxi.
Looking mighty fine. Looking mighty fine. Singapore 762, runway 20 center, cleared for takeoff. Wind is 60 at 6 knots. Singapore 132, contact Singapore departure on 120.3. Scooter 478, runway 20 center, land and wait. Southern 2079, pushback approved, expect runway 20 center. I'm keeping it flowing. I'm keeping it flowing. I think I'm doing good so far. Singapore 469 heavy, text run. Nothing crazy going on. I think I'm on top of everything. They're going over there. That is not a problem.
Runway 20 center.
Morning, good
Line
morning.
up and wait. Scooter 478.
We have some beautiful aircraft here. Yeah, they are taking off. Singapore 762. Bon voyage. Thai 402 heavy, runway 20 center, line up and wait. Southern 2079, runway 20 center.
Runway 20
Southern
center.
2025, pushback to expect runway 20 center. Look at this. Look at this.
Pushback approved, expect runway 20 center. China Southern 2025.
Thai lining up. We do have Singapore, we do have Scooter, we do have Japan Air.
Singapore ground. China Southern
777-200.
liner with information
That looks
offer.
tiny.
Resting push and start.
That's a tiny wide-bodied aircraft, that is.
Singapore ground. China Southern 20.
Scooter 478, contact Singapore departure on 120.3. No. Scooter 478, contact Singapore departure on 120.3.
Command requirement missing.
Command
Scooter
requirement missing.
478.
Thai 402 heavy, runway 20 center, cleared for takeoff.
Departure on 120.3. Scooter 478.
Bon voyage, Thai 702 heavy.
Runway 20 center. Clear for takeoff. Thai 402 heavy.
402 heavy. Scooter 874 heavy, runway 20 center, line up and wait.
Runway 20 center.
Singapore
Line up and wait.
726, pushback approved, expect
Scooter
runway 20 center.
874 heavy.
Singapore ground. Singapore 726 with information Oscar.
Beautiful.
Requesting push and start. Singapore
Absolutely
Tower,
beautiful.
Indonesia
I'm loving this. I really love the cinematics here because, you know, these these aircraft are looking mighty fine, and you know, I do enjoy the heavies.
Singapore 86.
I hope you do too. Please comment, do you want to see these kind of cinematic takeoffs and landings? I really want to hear your feedback on that, because if you do like them, I will try to have more of them in my episodes, and if you don't like them that much, then you know, I just cut them out. Scooter 874 heavy, runway 20 center, clear to takeoff. Thai 402 heavy, contact Singapore departure on 120.3. Japan Air 712 heavy, runway 20 center, line up and wait. But because I don't have your comments just yet, you will receive another rotation cinematic on this scooter. So you're well advised to give me some comments so I can really know what you like and what you don't like. So
Requesting push and start.
Bon voyage, scooter 874 heavy. 874 heavy. Indonesia 824, runway 20 right, clear to land. Japan Air 712 heavy, runway 20 center. Wind 3 low. Japan Air 712 heavy, wind 60 at 6 knots, runway 20 center, clear for takeoff. Scooter 874 heavy, contact Singapore departure on 120.3. Singapore 632 heavy, runway 20 center, line and wait. Need correct runway.
Scooter 426.
Negative. Need correct runway.
Command property error. Japan Air 712
My
heavy.
property error. Negative. Need correct runway.
Negative. Need correct runway. Singapore 63.
Negative. Need correct runway.
Singapore Tower, Emirates
Singapore Tower.
314 Super on final 20
Yeah, we have the
right.
Emirates Super. Singapore 632 heavy, runway 20 center, line up and wait.
Runway 20 center. Line
Singapore
up.
868 pushback approved. Expect runway 20 center. Singapore 726 runway 20 center at Tango 3. Emirates 314 Super. Wind is 60 at 6 knots, runway 20 right, clear to land. Yes!
Pushback approved. Expect runway 20
There
center.
we have all the departures.
Singapore
Well, not
868.
all, but some of them. Thai,
Runway
Singapore
20 center.
Scooter,
A Tango 3.
Tango 3.
Singapore 726.
Japan Air 712 heavy, contact Singapore departure on 120.3.
Japan
Yeah, so
Air
far it's quite
712 heavy.
peachy. It's a morning rush. These hours does have a fair amount of takeoffs,
Scooter 426.
but you know, I think it's still under 40 per hour, so it's not that hectic, and I've managed to keep up good pace, and we don't have that many arrivals, so that gives me more time to handle the takeoffs. Usually when I get, you know, overwhelmed, it's because of the arrivals, because the arrivals take a lot of time. I need to figure out where they are going, where they are parking, what taxi route they need to take, and then I need to be careful that they don't interfere with any of the departing planes. So the arrivals take a lot of, you know, effort and concentration. If we have only few arrivals, it's a lot more easier to control the airport. So here we have a decent amount of arrivals, but we have Qatari. That's nice. But you know, because of the relative small number of arrivals, I've been managing this pretty nicely so far. Let's send here. Singapore 632 heavy, wind is 60 at 6 knots, runway 20 center, clear for takeoff. John Southern 2079, runway 20 center, line up and wait. Let's line these guys up.
Runway 20
Are they
center.
ready to taxi?
Clear for
Probably.
takeoff.
Scooter 426, runway 20 center.
Runway 20 center.
What about the arrival? Where are they going? To Indonesia. They are going there. That's no problem if they take whiskey.
Pushback first. Scooter 426.
Indonesia 824. Taxi to ramp via whiskey. No, not Victor.
Taxi to ramp via Victor.
Indonesia 824. Taxi to ramp via Whiskey. Whiskey is not Victor.
Taxi to ramp via Whiskey.
I said Whiskey. They heard Victor. How difficult is that?
Singapore ground.
I
Scooter
clearly
46
said
ready to
Whiskey.
taxi.
You heard me, right? Please tell me you heard me. Singapore 102. 102, it's 106.
Singapore ground.
Singapore 106 heavy.
With information on
Pushback approved, expect runway 20 center. Singapore 632 heavy, contact Singapore departure on 120.3. Singapore 936 heavy, pushback approved, expect runway 20 center.
Departure on 120.3, Singapore 632 heavy. Good morning.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 20 center.
Is this Emirates
Singapore
plane wanting to
936
park?
heavy.
Are you parking over there? Okay, let's take them via Whiskey and let's hold short of Victor. Emirates 314 Super, taxi to ramp via Whiskey, hold short of Victor.
Taxi to ramp via Whiskey. Hold short, taxiway Victor. Emirates 314
That's
Super.
what we are doing.
Singapore
Sun Southern
ground,
2079, runway 20
6
center, clear for takeoff, wind is 60 at 6 knots. Sun Southern 2025, runway 20 center, land and wait. How come they don't hear me? Sun Southern 2025, runway 20 center, line up and wait. Line up, you bastard!
20 center, line up and wait. China Southern 2025.
Qatari 942 heavy, runway 20 right, clear to land. Singapore 936 heavy, runway 20 center via Whiskey. Let's do that. Singapore 106 heavy, runway 20 center via Whiskey. Singapore 600 heavy, pushback approved, expect runway 20 center. Sun Southern 2079, contact Singapore departure on 120.3. Singapore 850 heavy, pushback approved, expect runway 20 center. Send. Sun Southern 2025, runway 20 center, clear for takeoff, wind is 60 at 6 knots. Singapore 726, runway 20 center, line up and wait. Oh cute, just a few planes, we managed to handle this beautifully. Beautifully, I tell you. These are going over here somewhere, I think, so it should not be a problem, yeah.
Runway 20
Emirates
center,
314
clear
Super,
takeoff.
continue taxi.
China Southern 2025.
Runway.
Qatari 942 heavy, taxi to ramp via Whiskey, Quebec. Yeah, that's fine.
Taxi to ramp
Absolutely fine.
via Whiskey.
Singapore 726, runway 20 center, clear for takeoff, wind is 60 at 6 knots. Why are not them taking off?
Negative. Need correct runway.
Negative, need correct runway, come on. Sun Southern 2025, runway, no, not runway, come on Petri, hold it together, don't fall apart at the moment like this, come on. Sun Southern 2025, contact Singapore departure 120.3. Sun Southern 2025, contact Singapore departure on 120.3. Singapore 726, runway 20 center, cleared for takeoff. Wind is 60 at 6 knots. Singapore 868, runway 20 center, line up and wait. Center.
Command property error.
Singapore 850 heavy, runway 20 center at Tango 2. Yes.
Departure on
What's going on here?
120.3.
They're rolling,
China
they're
Southern
parked.
2025.
They're going back home, they should be rolling soon.
Runway 20 center.
Singapore 277 heavy, pushback approved, I expect runway 20 center. But would you look at this, it's a heavy, it's a heavy, it's a heavy. It was a super, it was a heavy, heavy.
Runway 20
We have a lot of heavies. This is wide-body heaven. That's what this is. Singapore Changi. Please tell me if you agree that this is a wide-body heaven. Singapore 600 heavy, runway 20 center via Whiskey. Let's take them to Whiskey immediately and then roll them
Singapore
back.
600 heavy.
That's what we do. What about this Air India? Singapore 868, runway 20 center, clear for takeoff. Need correct runway.
Negative. Need correct
Yeah.
runway. Singapore 868.
Won't you tell me about it?
Singapore
Let me
Tower,
tell you what I
91
need.
heavy on final 20 right.
Do you know what I need? I need you to listen to me. That's what I need. I said center, not left. You heard me.
Ground, Singapore 277
Singapore
heavy.
868,
Information
runway
Oscar.
20 center.
Requesting push and start.
Cleared to takeoff. Wind is 60 at 6 knots. Dear God.
Runway 20
Singapore
center.
726.
Cleared for takeoff.
Contact Singapore departure on 120.3. Scooter 426. Runway 20 center, land and wait. Line up, you
Departure on
bastard.
120.3. Singapore 726. Good morning.
United 1 heavy, runway 20 right, clear to land. Oh yeah, we have United heavy.
Runway
And where is
20
this
center.
Air India
Line
going?
up and wait. Scooter
Where are
426.
you going, Air India?
Runway 20
There.
right. Clear to land. United 1
Let's
heavy.
take them Hawaii Whiskey Romeo.
Singapore ground.
Air India
Singapore
346.
277 heavy, ready to taxi.
Text ramp via Whiskey Romeo. Let's take them
Taxi to
that
ramp
way.
via Whiskey.
That should
Romeo.
be
Air India
that should not
346.
be a problem. Singapore 277 heavy, runway 20 center via Whiskey. Let's take them
Runway
to Whiskey
20
also.
center via Whiskey.
Xiamen Air
Singapore
2857, pushback approved, expect runway 20 center. Singapore 936 heavy, runway 20 center, land and wait. Look at this.
Singapore 868. Good morning. Runway 20 center. Cleared for takeoff. Speeder 426.
Airbus A350.
Runway 20
What a
center.
beautiful,
Line up and wait.
magnificent piece of
Singapore 936 heavy.
hardware that is. That is absolutely amazing.
Singapore ground. Yemen Air 2857 with information Oscar. Requesting push and start.
Singapore 62 heavy, pushback approved, expect runway 20 center. Singapore 62 heavy, pushback approved, expect runway 20 center.
Negative. Unknown command. Singapore 277 heavy.
Singapore 620 heavy, pushback approved, expect runway 20 center. How hard can it be?
Pushback approved. Expect
Obviously
runway 20
pretty
center.
damn hard.
Singapore 207 heavy.
Singapore 936 heavy, wind is 60 at 6 knots, runway 20 center, clear to takeoff. Not right! Need correct runway.
Departure on 120.3. Scooter 426.
They are going to tell me they need correct runway, but I said center.
Turn right to 68 degrees. Singapore 620 heavy.
Negative. Need
Negative.
correct runway.
Need correct.
Command property error. Singapore 936 heavy.
Negative and command property error in the same
Singapore
feedback.
ground.
Come
Yemen
on.
Air 2857
Ready to taxi. Singapore 936 heavy, wind is 60 at 6 knots, runway 20 center, clear to takeoff. Enter left.
Negative. I'm on the ground. Singapore 936
For the love
heavy.
of God.
Singapore 207 heavy.
Singapore
right taxi.
936 heavy, wind is 60 at 6 knots, runway 20 center, cleared for takeoff. Singapore 106 heavy, runway 20 center, line up and wait.
Runway 20
Again, these
center,
pilots are not
cleared
listening
for
to me.
takeoff.
Why?
Singapore
What is so
936
hard
heavy.
about it? Xiamen Air 2857, runway 20 center. Oh yeah. How cool is that? Pretty cool in my opinion, but you know, I'm biased, I guess. Singapore 106 heavy, runway 20 center, cleared for takeoff. Wind is 60 at 6 knots. Singapore 936 heavy, contact Singapore departure on 120.3. Singapore 86 Singapore 850 heavy, runway 20 center, land upon wait. Oh. Singapore 850 heavy, runway 20 center. Singapore 850 heavy, runway 20 center, line up and wait.
820 center, line up and wait. Singapore 850 heavy.
Singapore 620 heavy, runway 20 center at Tango 2. Singapore 876 heavy, pushback approved, expect runway 20 center. Singapore 207 heavy, runway 20 center via Whiskey. Singapore 882 heavy, pushback approved, expect runway 20 center.
Good morning. Good job.
Good morning, good job, thank you, we have a lot of heavies.
Runway 20 center.
Singapore 850 heavy, runway 20 center, clear for takeoff, wind is 60 at 6 knots. Singapore 600 heavy, runway 20 center, land and wait. Yeah, let's land them up.
Runway 20 center. At
We are
Tango
keeping
2.
everything moving, we are rolling, we are rocking and we are rolling, and we are having everything happening on the time frame we want them
Runway 20 center.
to be happening.
Singapore 20
We don't have that much queue here, just a few aircraft. We've been keeping pace. Let's see what kind of score we do get for this hour. How much time do we have? We have 15 minutes still, so plenty of time to send all of these aircraft here. Obviously we get more and more as we go along, but you know, it should be fine. Taxiing soon. India should be fine. Oh, we have Turkish. We have Turkish cargo. Turkish cargo over here. Turkish 6767 heavy. Pushback approved, expect runway 20 center. Yeah, that's nice. Singapore 600 heavy. Wind is 60 at 6 knots. Runway 20 center. Clear for takeoff. Singapore 277 heavy, runway 20 center, line up and wait. Singapore 850 heavy. Contact Singapore departure on 120.3. Singapore 882 heavy, runway 20 center. Okay, we don't take them to Whiskey because Whiskey is a faster taxiway, so they are taxiing fast, so they get past and then they turn. They are taxiing slow until here, so we have plenty of time for them to get in front of them before they get there. We don't need to give whole short of command because of this smart move. Turkish 6767 heavy, runway 20 center.
Runway 20 center.
Singapore 277 heavy, wind is 60 at 6 knots, runway 20 center, clear to land. Clear to land! They're on the runway!
I'm on the ground.
I'm on the ground, I'm aware you're on the ground. Come on, let's hand off the Singapore 600 heavy, contact Singapore departure on 120.3. I'm aware you're on the runway. That's why I'm clearing you to land. No, I'm just having fun with you. Singapore 277 heavy. Just having fun with you. Are you having fun?
Negative. Unknown command. Singapore 277 heavy.
Singapore 277 heavy. Wind is 60 at 6 knots, runway 20 center, clear for takeoff. Xiamen Air 2857, runway 20 center, line up and wait. Are we going to have problem with this ease? Maybe we are. I don't know.
Singapore ground. Turkish 6767 heavy.
Turkish 6767 heavy. Hold position. Let's hold them there. Dynasty 5884 heavy. Pushback approved, expect runway 20 center.
Pushback approved, expect runway 20
And we
center.
do have this
Dynasty 5884 heavy.
Vistara. Air India 2381 heavy. Pushback approved, expect runway 20 center. Yes.
Pushback approved, expect runway 20 center.
So let's take them first and then these guys and then we let Turkish cargo to continue taxi. Where are these guys going?
Singapore ground. Air India 2381 heavy
There.
with information pop-up. Request
Air
push
India
start.
2105, taxi to ramp via Whiskey Romeo. Singapore 518, pushback approved, expect runway 20 center.
Taxi to ramp.
Singapore
USA.
277 heavy,
Air India
Contact Singapore departure on 120.3.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 20
So let's take them
center.
first and then
Singapore 518.
continue. Pushing back. We have 2 cargos, that's nice. Xiamen Air 2857. Wind is 60 at 6 knots, runway 20 center, clear for takeoff. Singapore 620 heavy, runway 20 center, line up and wait. Turkish 6767 heavy, continue taxi. This is beautiful, look at this, this is Cargo 747, this is one of my favorites.
Singapore 620 heavy.
Dynasty 5884 heavy, runway 20 center.
Continue taxi. 6767 heavy.
Runway 20 center. Dynasty 5884 heavy.
That's nice,
Singapore ground. Dynasty 5884 heavy ready to
that's
taxi.
nice. Singapore 620 heavy, runway 20 center, clear for takeoff. Wind is 60 at 6 knots. Xiamen Air 2857, contact Singapore departure on 120.3. Xiamen Air 2857, contact Singapore departure on 120.3. Singapore 207 heavy, runway 20 center, line up and wait.
Runway 20 center. Cleared for takeoff.
Scooter
Singapore
384,
620
pushback
heavy.
approved, expect runway 20 center. Air India 2381 heavy, runway 20 center at Tango 2. Singapore 518, runway 20 center at Tango 3. Let's guide the cargo plane home. Four bars are just waiting here. Where are they going?
Runway 20 center.
There.
Line up and wait. Singapore
Let's take them
20
back kilo.
Pushback approved. Expect runway
Kilo.
20 center. Scooter 384.
Singapore 7819 heavy, taxi drive via Bravo Kilo.
Runway 20 center. At Tango 2.
Absolutely
Air
fine.
India 2381 heavy.
Singapore 207 heavy, wind is 60 at 6 knots, runway 20 center. Clear for takeoff. Singapore 620 heavy, contact Singapore departure on 120.3. Why are they turning before I gave them to departure? I don't know what they're doing.
Taxi to ramp via Bravo.
They were turning already.
Singapore
Why is
71
that?
Bangerhead.
I fly 1015, runway 20 right, clear to land.
Runway 20 center. Cleared for takeoff. Singapore 207 heavy.
Red cap 722, runway 20 center, land and wait.
Departure on 120.3.
How much time? How
Singapore
much
620
time?
heavy.
5 minutes. 5 minutes, only 5
Runway
minutes.
20 right. Clear to land. I fly 1015.
We could get all of these heavies
Runway 20
airborne,
center.
I
Line up
hope.
and wait. Red cap 722.
Singapore
What is
ground. Air India 2381 heavy ready to taxi.
See, this is Tango.
Singapore
Scooter
ground.
384,
518 ready to taxi.
runway 20 center, hold short of Tango. Scooter 384, runway 20 center, hold short of Tango. Singapore 164, pushback approved, expect runway 20 center. Singapore 164, pushback approved, expect runway 20 center. Singapore 207 heavy, contact Singapore departure on 120.3. Pushback negative, negative.
164.
Singapore 508 heavy, pushback approved, expect runway 20 center.
Pushback approved.
Red cap
Runway
722, wind is
Singapore
60 at 6 knots, runway 20 center, clear for takeoff. Singapore 882 heavy, runway 20 center, line up and wait. Why do they hear the runway incorrectly? Singapore 882 heavy, runway 20 center, line up and wait. They should be holding short there, so they can get a move on. Filthy animal. Redcap 705, runway 20 right, clear to land. I don't have much time, but maybe I do need to get a few of these aircrafts. A few of these heavies airborne, hopefully. Singapore 882 heavy. Wind is 60 at 6 knots. Runway 20 center, clear for takeoff. Clear for takeoff. Clear for takeoff. Singapore 882 heavy. Runway 20 center, clear for takeoff. Turkish 6467 67 heavy. Runway 20 center, line up and wait. That wasn't pretty, but they understood me. Redcap 722, contact Singapore departure on 120.3. How much time? How much time? 2 minutes. Oh no. Oh no. I don't have time to get these airborne, I think. Unless I cheat and go 1 minute over the limit. Singapore 164, runway 20 center. Skoda 384, continue taxi. Turkey 6767 heavy. Runway 20 center, clear for takeoff. Dynasty 5884 heavy. Runway 20 center, line up and wait. Again the wrong runway, what is this? Dynasty 5884 heavy. Runway 20 center, line up and wait. How come center gets confused with right? They don't sound anything alike. Singapore 882 heavy, contact Singapore departure on 120.3. Dynasty 5884 heavy, runway 20 center, cleared for takeoff.
Singapore ground, Dynasty 5884 heavy.
Turkey 6767 heavy, contact Singapore departure on 120.3. Let's take this rotation, and I think then the challenge is done.
Singapore Tower, Turkish 168 heavy on final 20 right.
Look at this. 747 cargo.
Singapore 518 with
Absolute beauty this is. Look at this.
Singapore ground, Scooter 384 with information. Requesting push and start.
There they go. Queen of the skies. So graceful.
Singapore ground, Singapore 164.
So graceful. And here we are. I think we are done. Yeah, we are 1 minute overboard like I said, but I wanted to see that magnificent 747 cargo takeoff. I really enjoyed it. What a nice set of aircraft and airliners. We did have so many wide-bodied heavies, a few super heavies as well. I really loved this. I hope you did too. Let's take the scorings. We did have 39 airplane movements in just 1 hour, 27 takeoffs, 12 landings. It could have been more, but I kept the airport rolling pretty nicely. I think I really enjoyed this one. I really like Singapore Changi Airport. It's a really nice airport and nice airliners. Obviously beautiful Asian airliners there. A lot of Singapore airlines. I really enjoyed this morning shift at Singapore. I hope you enjoyed it as well. And if you did, you know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel to get notified for future episodes. And while you wait for my next episode, please check out my previous ones right here. And I hope to see you soon again.